in Cinque Terre in Italy. I'm visiting. Just took about a 4-hour hike through some of the little cities here that connect, and I thought I'd do a quick video with the awesome view here, so you can check it out. Anyway, I got a question from someone who asked a lot of really good questions on the channel, and I'm not going to say the name though, but I'm sure if you've watched a lot of the videos, you've heard a lot of questions from this gentleman. He said that, let me see, I've censored some of the information, but he says that essentially he has his son and family wanted to move to where they're going, and they paid his daughter-in-law's 26-year-old cousin to clean up after them, which included patching and painting the walls and trim in their end of the house. The cousin is the biggest screw-up I've ever known, no exaggeration. He is almost always hours late. I explained to him that I'm not free to go anywhere while I'm waiting for him to show up, and he should at least call and let me know. Now, talking to him, I can tell he is very smart, and I've been tempted to have a good talk with him about the importance of a good reputation if he ever decides to go into a business. But when are you wasting your breath trying to help someone? Video, are there people beyond help? So this was a good topic for video. I've talked about this a little bit before. If you've got my book, in my book in soft skills, I have a chapter on here on dealing with, and probably in the Complete Software Developer's Career Guide, which you can check out here, where I have a chapter where I talk about dealing with like poisonous coworkers and people. I think I did a video too, like on dealing with people that essentially everything always bad happens to them, and so you should just avoid those people in general. But what about in this case? Like, he's got this nephew, you've got like maybe a family member, someone that has potential, that you've got something you could teach them and you could help them out, but you know, they're always late. They always have some kind of excuse, always some kind of problem. They don't seem to get it. They don't seem to be cognizant of other people's time and of what it might be costing, right, you, right, or themselves in the future. So, you know, how do you deal with those kind of people? And do they have any kind of, is there any hope for them? Well, you know, I get this a lot of questions about this, simply because a lot of you that watch this channel, you're very much about improving yourself in, you know, you're very much about trying to become better, and you're trying to improve on all these areas. But so you want to help other people, right? So you've got this friend, this family member, right? That's a better view there. So you've got someone that you feel like maybe you've even sent them to this channel and said, hey, you know, watch these videos, and you feel like you can help them. You feel like if you could just give them a little bit of push, that they could be so much more successful in life, and you've got the answer, you've got the secret sauce that they need. So what do? Well, the problem is that it's like, you know, you've heard the expression, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And that's what that is about, right? It's not about like people being stubborn. It's more about the idea, at least the way that I'm using it, that most people, like you, it is hopeless. Like this, I think in this particular situation, this gentleman, he's not, if he doesn't have the initiative, if he doesn't care about these things, if he's not seeking out wisdom, right? It's kind of like this, like you can't stuff wisdom down people's throats, right? It never works, right? It has to be someone seeking it out, and it's something that's hard fought and hard to find. And so if you're not on a path to growth yourself, and you're just thinking that, you know, you're just going to get by in life, then when you hear wisdom, you're not going to respond, you're not going to listen, right? So, you know, from your perspective, you're coming from a perspective of having, you know, hindsight, of having perspective, right? You're seeing, you know, just like I'm over here, right? You can see in the background, right, the city, right? You've got that perspective. You've got a higher level, you're up above, and you can see the layout of the city. You can see what's going on, right? If you're down in the city, in the street, you don't see how big it is. You don't see everything that's going on. You can't see, you don't have the perspective, right? And so when you're trying to educate someone or talk to someone that doesn't have perspective, it's it's failure. Like, you're not going to communicate. They're not going to get the point because they don't care, because they don't see it. They don't see what you're saying, right? It's like trying to describe, you know, if you're out here and you have this view and you're trying to describe something to someone. I can describe that city, right? You can see over there, right? I can point, oh, look at that. I can point right here. You can see that. I could describe that to you. But if you're up here with me, but if you're not, if you're down there in the city, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to understand what I'm talking about, right? You see what I'm saying? So again, it's the same type of thing here, is that it's, you know, when people come and they ask you for help, it's totally different. Then, you know, you give them what you can. You know, you can write books, you can put out information, but you can't force someone. If you have, and we all have those family members, those friends that they're just, it's like they're lazy, they're doing they don't have common sense, right? And you want to help them, and a lot of times, you know, you invest a lot of money, invest a lot of time, and they'll still be failures, and they'll, you know, because they have to take initiative, and that's the one thing you can't, you know, force people to do. But there is good news. I'll give you one solution, which is often those people are motivated when they're inspired, and often they're inspired by what inspires most people when they're at that kind of low level of consciousness, of awareness, is greed or jealousy. So if you are successful, if you do well, if you you know, have nice things, if you're able to be successful in your life, some of those people that you know, that you'd like to help, they're going to be a little bit jealous, and they're going to possibly start to ask you questions and say, well, how can I, you know, do what you're doing? How can I invest in real estate? How can I improve myself? How can I get in shape, right? And then you can help them, right? It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to work, but that's the opportunity that you have. And so, you know, in general, I'd say this. So, you know, when you run into those people, and like I said, I have plenty of them in my life, I don't even try. I don't even try to lecture them. I don't even try to tell them anything. I just do what I'm going to do, and let them do what they're going to do. And, you know, as far as relying on them or counting on them for anything, I assume the worst, and I operate that way. So there you go. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but I'm a little bit out of breath. So, all right, if you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button below. Click the bell so you don't miss any videos I do here, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.